On today's show, we deep dive into the Green Goblin's favorite new invention, the Flyboard Air. We talk about the Volocopter and its 18-rotor electric goodness. And we also talk about Starshot project and whether or not we can reach Alpha Centauri with tiny little spaceships in 20 years.
Also, actor Clayton Snyder stops by to talk about his new pilot, Second Star.
We also do a Back It or Hack It. Would you or would you not buy a portable DNA lab? We're going to answer that question. It's Tomorrow Daily. Greetings, citizens of the internet. Welcome to Tomorrow Daily, the best geek talk show in the known universe. The known universe.
Well, we're going to know more maybe after today's episode.
That's what I'm saying. We don't really know what's out there. If Stephen Hawking is successful, we might find out we are not, in fact, the best geek talk show in the known universe. It could be an Alpha Centauri.
That would be so disappointing.
That's all we're saying.
There's this amazing geek talk show over in Alpha
It's
Centauri.
so good. Oh my God, you guys are missing out. I'm Ashley Esqueda, by the way.
And I'm Jeff Kanata. Let's dip, shall we?
Let's not even dip. Let's dive.
Ooh.
Deep dive right into the headlines.
Diving into the deep end headlines.
There's been a lot of speculation about Flyboard. we need to discuss Flyboard. This is like right up front. We got to talk about Flyboard Air because some people are saying this is fake.
Do you think it's fake?
Well, here's the thing. If it was just some rando flying it around, I'd be like, this is obviously super phony as that skier getting chased by a bear video.
But that's pretty hilarious, by the way.
Hilarious, but also super fake.
Yeah.
But this guy is the actual, Frankie Zapata, this is the guy who invented the water jetpack thing.
Which I want to do, still want to do, haven't done yet.
You can go to like a resort in the Caribbean, you could try it out. But yeah, so he has this, you can see he's got a little controller in his hand. Obviously, very dramatic.
Yeah.
But yeah, this controller apparently controls the turbine.
Yeah.
But the thing
is rad.
So some people on Reddit, I'm a longtime lurker, guys, on Reddit. Some people on Reddit were saying like, oh, I don't believe it because he's so steady on it. But the thing is if he's the inventor of it, he obviously probably has the most flight time out of anybody you know. Mm-hmm. And it's just like getting on one of the wheelie boards,
right? Where
electric wheelie board, because I won't call it a hoverboard because this is a hoverboard, the more you do it, the better you get at it.
Right. Here's why I do think it's real.
Okay.
It's over water. Like, to do it fake, he's probably going to have to be hanging from a crane of some kind, which is hard to do over water. Mm-hmm. And
I'll buy that.
There's really no reason to have them be over water unless it's real. If it's real, I want to be over water because if I fall, I want to land in water.
Yeah.
I'm buying it right now. And, fool me once, of course, many times. But still, I want it to be real, and I want to try it.
I want it to be real, too. A lot of people have said this is the part that kind of they want to talk about, which is that the takeoff and landing is not really shown all that well, like all very clearly or in one shot. They kind of cut. But, I mean, listen. So, yeah, watch. So here he comes, and then all of a sudden, it's a second. Like,
yeah, they
cut between those shots, so it sort of feels like, well, maybe there's something there that's a little fishy.
But you're right. He's an inventor of a thing that's an actual thing. So what motivation would he have to do a fake thing?
Right. It's not like Lexus faking us out with that hoverboard that they made.
But I understand what the spirit behind that.
I just
don't understand what the motivation would be here other than gotcha.
Right. But who knows? I mean, it is a Green Goblin flight platform.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not even really a hoverboard. It's like a flying board. It's like kind of cool.
Yeah, this is not even a hoverboard. You're right. This is
truly
a
flyboard, like the name implies. A Flyboard Air. It's pretty good.
So we gotta get a hold of these guys and make sure that we can try it because I want to try it.
Yeah, Flyboard.
Let's try it.
Call us. Frankie, we know you're a big fan of the show. Call us up, just like Elon. Okay, so going from one form of aerial transportation to another, let's discuss the Volocopter, which is very real.
Yes. And
has been real for years and years and years. This has been in development for, I believe, 6 years. And so this is in Germany, and it took them forever to get all the proper permits to be able to do this.
Yeah.
They finally did a manned flight. So
it's a human-size drone.
Yeah. It's a big giant drone with a cockpit for a person.
Yeah.
Which is the best.
I think this is awesome. And it allows them to fly in a much more agile way than you could with a regular helicopter.
Indeed.
And that is pretty exciting. The idea of being able to have this be, who knows? It could be like a search and rescue vehicle.
Oh, this is an Uber.
Well, it could be an Uber.
That I would love an Uber. I'd be like, oh, just Ubercopter. Uber Volo. Like Uber Volo. Get my Uber.
You know, they actually do have Uber helicopters.
I know, they had it at
Vegas.
CES. Yeah, they have Uber Chopper where you can take a little tour. But I like this as like personal transport. Like, oh, I got to get from the west side to the valley to Burbank in 20 minutes.
Please.
Like, oh, call me a chopper. But, okay, so let's discuss what this Volocopter is all about. Because I thought there were some really interesting advancements in technology here that we didn't get to talk about because, one, you weren't here, but also I was all alone, so it would be really weird if I was talking about it to myself. They designed this with electric motors, so it's much quieter than a standard motor. They said it's ecologically sound. They're really big on making sure this is environmentally friendly. They said the Volocopter is acoustically much more pleasant due to its design, and it's much quieter than conventional helicopters. They talk a lot about battery technology development as they've gone through this, and they also said it's very simple to fly. So apparently,
well, helicopters are notoriously not.
Right.
A helicopter is trying to flip you over all the time, and your job as the pilot is to not let it.
But because this has 18 rotors, it's a lot more stable. And on top of that, it automatically adjusts for turbulence, which is really handy. And then it's controlled by a single joystick. That's it. It's a simple single joystick that you control your flight for stalling, pitch adjustment, glide angle. Those things that are sort of really difficult to master in a helicopter, they want to make that much easier, which I thought was great.
This thing go very fast?
Not terribly yet. But I think now that they have had a manned flight go, I think that they're probably going to ramp that up pretty well. And I would imagine the flight time is not a long time.
Yeah.
It's not very long.
And it, obviously looks like very small amount of cargo, 2 passengers tops.
Maybe a backpack.
Yeah, so it's not, it's not going to replace any kind of vehicles we have now at the moment, but it does hold a lot of promise for the future as far as these kinds of multi-rotor electric vehicles. It's pretty cool.
And as we get further and further into self-driving and autonomous vehicles, that also will apply to aerial vehicles as well. So instead of, like some people will still fly single-engine Cessnas for fun, but if you want to get from point A to point B, I'm sure being able to just hire an autonomous robot to take you from, LA to Palm Springs for the weekend would be a lot cheaper than hiring a pilot to do it.
Crazy.
Pretty cool.
I want to see them just cut to the guy like with his cell phone controlling it. Like
I know, just like
you think the joystick does stuff, but it's the guy on the side with his cell phone. Okay,
so our last headline story that we have to talk about is Starshot project, which you talked about yesterday.
This is pretty exciting stuff, I think.
This to me is so much science fiction becoming reality. It blows my mind.
Yeah, the idea that we could explore that far out and go that close to the speed of light. You say it's 20%,
but that's still 100 million miles an hour.
Ridiculously
really fast. Really, 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 really
and
fast.
The key here is that it's because these are very small spacecraft.
Yeah, these are they're calling them nanocrafts.
Right.
And they're teeny tiny rockets, and they believe that by using light sail technology, which we've talked about before on the show, by using light sail technology, they can increase the speed at which these nanocrafts travel up to 20% of the speed of light.
So the idea here is that you have a solar sail which actually catches photons and uses that to propel it. And the only reason it can do that is because the thing it's propelling is so ridiculously light.
Small and light,
that it actually can use light waves to propel it through space.
It's a cumulative process. It's not that it continually needs the same. It's like, some photons give it some thrust there, and that continues because it's in space.
Yeah.
So as they get more and more and more, it goes faster, 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 faster. My question is, like, what are they going to do once they get into Alpha Centauri? Like, what are they?
There it is. There it went. Oh.
I know. It's like if they're going to be moving so fast at some point, like, well, I guess I would imagine like part of that has to do with the ground-based light beamer that they're saying that would help get it, start the journey. But the thing is like, this is pretty incredible stuff, really heady ideas from Stephen Hawking and co. I love that Yuri Milner has invested a whole boatload of money into this.
What I don't understand, the same thing I brought up yesterday, is how are we going to get any information back from this thing? Because the information is not going to travel at the speeds that the device is traveling. So in order to have any kind of even information that it got to where we sent it, it's going to take a ridiculously long time to find out, right?
So I think it would not take a ridiculously long amount of time, but obviously, I mean, when you think about like Mars, which is far, but not nearly as far as the nearest star system,
Right.
our neighboring star system, it takes how long is it? Is it 21 minutes or something like that? So for me, I think it'll take a while to get that information back, but if you're sending back something like an image in light, via light, it might not be that bad. Or if it's like a laser, I don't know. I think this is actually part of the process with projects, with Starshot project, is they want to work out exactly how they could get this data back. They also had said one of the big things they felt confident about was that all of the technology to accomplish this already exists or is very close to being created.
That's pretty amazing.
Or is in development basically right now. So that to me is super impressive.
I think these little nanobots are just going to have a little teeny tiny rolled up piece of paper in them that has Stephen Hawking's phone number. And it's just like,
call me.
Just whoever finds it, just give us a call.
And then all of a sudden, tomorrow, what would it be? Like, it wouldn't even be Tomorrow Daily. It would be some other show name, some aliens hosting a parallel sort of star system version of our show. And they're like, who's this guy, Stephen Hawking? What's up with that?
The true best geek talk show in the universe.
In the entire universe. That's like exactly what it is.
Maybe we should have some sort of best geek talk show off with them, and we find out who truly is.
I like it.
Yeah.
I'm willing to fight for the right to that title.
We're not going to just
be honest.
go down without a fight.
Why do you think Genghis is actually a weapon?
Yeah,
I don't know if anybody knows, but he's ready, and Jeff will wield the lightsaber. It'll be fine.
Bring it on, unknown galaxy.
Last thing I will say about Starshot project is they say, because of the economies of scale and computer components and the price and everything, they said eventually they'll be able to send these rockets out into space for just a few $100,000.
Oh. Chump change.
Yeah, I got that in my couch. Yeah. No problem. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with Clayton Snyder, who's going to talk to us.
You're not going to want to miss this. It's a fun interview. He's a really great guy.
Super delightful. And you might also see Logan in a Dancing Ninjas video.
You do not want to miss that.
Just saying. So stick around. It's Tomorrow Daily. Our guest this week, you might know from Lizzie McGuire. He played the beautifully coiffed Ethan.
Yes.
And now he is starring in a beautiful little pilot that you should see online called Second Star.
We're very excited to welcome Clayton Snyder here. Thank you, Clayton, for coming.
Thank you guys for having me.
Oh, we're doing handshakes.
Hello.
Hi.
Nice. Welcome.
Hi.
So polite you are.
Hi, thank you.
Yeah.
So you, first of all, I kind of want to just put it out there that you have known producer Logan for a while.
I've known producer Logan for some time. Since
He's quite a guy.
He is a guy. And hi, Logan. We can't hear him on the show, can we? He can't pitch in.
No,
okay.
we don't like to give him a microphone. We took it away.
That makes sense. I wouldn't do it. But yeah, we've been doing, in fact, video stuff since back in high school. We had a few cult classics.
Were you in the Dancing Ninjas video?
I was in the Dancing Ninjas video.
Oh, I knew
Logan,
it.
can you pull up footage of Dancing Ninjas?
Dancing Ninjas video. In fact, if we don't show it now, people will be very upset.
Yeah, I think we'll put it in post. We'll put it in post.
Okay.
All right.
But you're doing more video stuff now. You've been on television and you are
all the video stuff.
You're back with a kind of an interesting new way to get on television, right?
Yeah, at least the latest thing that's been going on. So the Lizzie McGuire stuff, coiffed. What does that mean?
So look, you're
well,
coiffed.
you have a
coiffed.
fantastic
your nice haircut.
Okay, I feel like coiffed is one of those words that like you know what it means, but you can't really define. Anyway, I mean like in general. I didn't mean like I was insulted.
It's a compliment.
Okay,
you know it's a compliment.
cool.
We just cut to how
Is
coiffed
that the
you are.
coif?
That's a coif.
What a coif.
There is no other
So
word
in
for
the
it.
dictionary, next to coiffed,
Yeah,
there's
he's
that.
actually he just clicked on Wikipedia and that's what came up.
Pretty
much.
Coif.
Okay.
So tell us about Second Star.
Yes. So Second Star, Disney, large company, different branches, including Disney XD and Maker Studios, started this initiative where Maker Studios would reach out to creatives who were producing content that they thought might be good people to ask if they wanted to pitch ideas for a show, and if they liked it, we'll give you a little bit of money, give us a proof of concept, and see where we go from there, pretty much.
So this is a way to sort of reach out to people that maybe didn't have an avenue to make stuff already, and allow sort of influx of new blood, new ideas, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So you guys, or was it you, or are you just?
No, it was my good friend Richard Allen, who is now executive producer. So Disney XD, through this, owns the project, technically.
Right, like if you pitch, then it's like, we own this if we decide to take it serious.
Exactly, but the contract is actually signed under Disney as a whole, so it could still be brought to different branches within the Walt Disney Company.
Gotcha.
So what is the idea that he had that got them to say, hey, let's make a proof of concept?
Well, you know, there's that tone that you can have with a Disney show. It's very light, bubbly, kind of fun, good for the whole family, but what was cool about Second Star, one, that it is musically oriented show, people love that, and also that it can deal with slightly darker issues that aren't really talked about or put up on TV very much. Like, you're dealing with 3 orphans essentially, and an older brother that's trying to, you know, support his family.
Keep it together.
Keep it together, yeah, under the shadow of their grandfather, who is this fantastic music producer, and you know, his father like had dreams. My character Lucas's father had dreams to kind of step into the music scene himself, and there was a tragic accident, and all of a sudden we're just kind of left where we are. So in the shadow of a legacy, but also not being attached from it and detached from it, and trying to figure out where we fit in all this. You know, can I still pursue my dreams as a musician while still trying to support my younger brother and sister? So it's like, ooh, like that's a Disney show?
Yeah,
right,
very cool.
But and it can be fun with the, like you said, with the inclusion of music. You have this opportunity to really make something not lighthearted, but something really enjoyable, something people feel good about after they're done watching it. Like, they don't feel like, wow, that was a real. I don't feel like I just watched The Walking Dead.
Yeah,
like,
but
I'm
not
like,
necessarily like, oh, like my dad is dead. But let's play music.
Yeah.
And it's not like ignoring these facts anyway, but it's just kind of like that avenue of expression, and how you can still overcome your circumstances by following a certain passion, things that give you life.
And it's cool because this idea isn't something that necessarily would have been pitched within Disney. You guys had the opportunity to bring it from outside and have this
quite outside the box.
Yeah. This sort of you know, almost like a Kickstarter of being able to give it a shot.
That's a good analogy.
Yeah.
So we kind of talked about how this is sort of a really non-traditional way of kind of moving this towards television.
Yeah.
And how you kind of started with, you know, with Lizzie McGuire and everything that you were doing when you were younger. This is kind of a really interesting sort of change of pace for you. Like, do you want to talk a little bit about the differences between what it was like to be on a show like Lizzie McGuire, which is obviously a very big, very, you know, well-funded production, and then doing something much more indie? You know, what are, obviously there are the money difference is the big difference, but for you as an actor, you know, what's the thing that you really love about working with an indie as opposed to a big production company, or vice versa?
Well, yeah, it's almost like like what I'm doing now was what I should have had to been doing then, almost. But when I was just starting out, you know, I was one of the lucky ones. I was only acting professionally, like going out on auditions for like a year and a half before Liz McGuire came around, and it was, boom, that was kind of the first thing that I really booked.
That's how it happens for everybody.
That's
what I've been told. And, that's if you just
so
you get a bus ticket to LA.
Just make your budget. Yeah. You know, like figure yourself like, okay, got about what, like 12 months, around 18 months, around that range.
There's a limit.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
And it'll happen right before the end of that, for sure.
Super easy. Happy stories.
Yeah. And no, that's awesome.
Yeah, so it was a really cool opportunity. It almost seemed kind of surreal. They weren't even sure they were going to use my character. And at that time, it's just like, there is a Disney show that they're making called Liz McGuire, and it had nothing behind the name whatsoever. And for it to have become what it became was pretty amazing. Yeah. And especially for the kind of show that it was, because looking back on it, it was so successful, I think, because it dealt with a lot of very real issues that kids in middle school were dealing with, but never really had an outlet to talk about.
Right.
You know. But to answer your question, what it's like going from this perspective, so I took a good time away from acting to live life, to be with my friends that I grew up with, and
that's why you're normal.
Go to school. You don't know me. And to play water polo and, you know, live that life for a little bit. But I knew I wanted to come back
Sure.
So as a
By the way, that should be the answer to every question
You
we've
don't
ever
know
asked
me.
on the show. Just everybody should just always go, "You don't know me.
yeah, it's like good job, you're so good in this show. You don't know me.
You don't know me." Sorry, go ahead.
But to answer your question, getting on Liz McGuire, I was only acting professionally for like a year and a half, like going on auditions, meaning, and then got the part. But back then it was just like there's this new show that's going to be made for Disney, and it didn't have anything behind that. And then it ends up being this pretty big
And it
thing.
exploded
yeah,
into Lizzie
yeah,
McGuire.
because it talked about a lot of real issues that kids in middle school dealt with, and which is pretty cool. And then took some time off to be with friends and go to school and do water polo things, and I've been back in it for the past 2-3 years. And just kind of, it's good to have that on your resume, that you had the experience and you might have some following with that. And then just building that network is essentially, because with acting, you are this product that you're selling. And I can't exactly say, hey, look at what I did, because that's a very different product, Clayton, at 15 than he is at 26, 7, 8.
Yeah.
So they're like, okay, but who are you now? So having been doing like a lot of student films, a lot of indie films, a lot of sketches, a lot of shorts, been a lot of live improv, a lot of live musical stuff, and some indie features now. And now this is kind of one of the latest things that's come up with Second Star.
That's cool. So you have experience building something into
Which is super cool and super fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's, just as an actor, what's the dream gig? What's the thing that you want to do most?
Oh man.
Like if you could be cast in the biggest movie you'll ever be in, or the biggest TV show, like what would it be? What would that be?
If you could make like an Indiana Jones, Jurassic Park, Star Wars hybrid somewhere in there.
Into that.
Like, yeah. So, like Chris Pratt, we want to work together? Sounds good. Deal?
Yeah.
Great.
He does in fact watch this show.
Okay, fantastic.
Religiously, I'm
cool.
sure.
Because
I'm sure.
That's like his role on Parks and Rec, which is fantastic.
So great,
Pretty great.
That was like the Ethan Kraft of that show.
Sure.
And then for him to go off and all of a sudden be like voiceover for a Lego movie.
And then Star-Lord.
And Star-Lord. Like, come on.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
So all this is fun and nice and everything, but what I want to hear about is that water polo stuff.
You want to hear
So
about
you're
it?
a professional water polo player.
Yeah, former, and still get in the water.
Yeah,
these days.
but I mean, this is a thing we don't so much have here in the States, but you had to actually go overseas to be a professional, right?
Yeah, so I've been playing since I was 8 years old, and gone from various clubs and for high school team, and played for Pepperdine in college, AO Waves, and I did film studies at Pep, and then was about to get into acting, directing after that. Didn't have an actual game plan at all, but was like, yeah, let's jump in.
Isn't that what we all do
Because
as
that's what I
film
did
majors?
before. I
think
could do it again.
is,
I could do it a year and a half,
sure.
and I'm like, great,
And then you'll be
rolling
famous,
again.
sure.
And then Terry Schroeder, various time Olympian, and former Olympic head coach. He has like 3 silver medals. Wow. And that time current national team head coach was like, hey, Clayton, like the way you play. If you keep improving, you got a shot at making the national team. He's a very soft-spoken gentleman. Hi, Terry. And and I was like, okay, well, I need to gotta go for that opportunity. So I was from there. You can't really stay in the States, really. I mean, you can certainly train like with the national team, but if you really want to improve, you got to play up. As you can imagine, if you guys have been part of sports teams, like that's how you get better. Play against people who are better than you.
Than you, right.
And hopefully in like a competitive setting, like games. So we don't have that for
really
that when you're outside of
infrastructure.
college.
Sure.
You're just playing against college guys.
In Europe, is it televised? Are
Yes.
there live audience?
Yes.
I mean, it's a big thing.
It's a thing.
That's
They got some
cool.
amazing stadiums over there. We got some like over here too, but it's not as regular as it is over there. Because if you think about it this way, they're just different avenues. Like Eastern Europe is kind of where it's strongest. So you're Serbia, you're Montenegro, Croatia, Italy.
Did you play in those places?
I played in Italy, Hungary, and Montenegro.
Cool.
Yeah.
What an experience.
Yeah, it was an amazing experience. They're
Yeah.
very good. It's very difficult.
It's rough, right? Underneath the water, people are punching and scrapping
what
each
the
other.
ref
it's
doesn't
legit.
see kind of goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a legit sport. It's,
Yeah.
it's
So
hard.
water polo.
So it trained you for Hollywood.
Yeah.
Yes. It got me
Beating,
just tough, and I can make it in this town.
Take all those below sea level beatings.
Yeah,
That's like
exactly.
basically what Hollywood is. That's
Yeah.
literally all Hollywood is. Okay, so with Second Star, you guys are it's 15 minutes. You're incorporating music into this pilot. You can see it on secondstar.tv, right? If
Correct.
anybody wants to go watch it. So with incorporating music, you also sing.
Apparently.
And,
Yeah.
and people like it.
Okay.
I've been reading the comments, and people are
They
enjoying
say
it.
positive things.
They say nice things. What is it like? Potentially, I mean, let's say Disney picks it up to go to series. I mean, you're gonna be singing a lot. I would imagine.
What I was saving for this interview is actually my debut album coming out.
Nice.
Actually, I'm totally kidding. This is not a
Amazing.
thing.
Drop that, man.
Now we're gonna hold you to it.
Yeah,
We're
right.
gonna
That was the
expect an
thing.
album.
No, music's always been actually like a very big part of my life. I was in choir when I was a kid and had voice lessons. Just never really pursued it professionally. I was kind of thrown into a lot of stuff in arts and athletics growing up, and play guitar here and there. Played alto saxophone briefly, a little bass guitar, and it's all
Real
just been a
Renaissance
hobby.
man, Clayton.
Stop it.
You
No,
are.
it's fun, and was able to just keep music incorporated throughout my life somehow. And so it's cool to have an avenue to kind of do that, you know?
That's sweet. So he sings, he acts, he plays water polo. I feel like I'm like selling you to that. I don't know what I'm doing.
So this 15-minute proof of concept is out now.
Yeah.
What does it need to be more? What do you need to have happen for
Tell
it to
Great
everybody
question.
what they should do
Great
to
question.
make it bigger.
So this is a proof of concept, and you may have heard of the term pilot.
Yes.
So it's like the first episode, kind of like, is this going to be a thing? We'll see if people like it. So proof of concept is a smaller version of that at a smaller budget. So that's essentially what this video is, proof of concept. So it's like not even a pilot, and it's being broadcasted out there to see, hey, like people, do you like
Sam.
it? And
Just wanted to say.
so there are various methods to track the hits of people watching the show, or going into the website and checking it in, or going to the Facebook page, and there are eyes on that, and there's no quota of like, okay, as soon as it gets X amount of views or X amount of likes or X amount of shares, we're gonna take it to network. It's just time will tell, and if it gets more views,
Check it out,
So
is what you're
essentially,
saying.
the more
right
views,
interest, right? The right interest from the right amount of people, then you're
right, and also like the demographic will also depend, like will decide what network it gets picked up on.
Sure.
You know, whether it be
Because Disney has a pretty vast network. of-
exactly, whether it's actual Disney or
channels.
ABC or Disney XD network. So depending like which age range or which gender is more akin to it for whatever reason.
So I'm going to do two things to
'Kay.
wrap this up.
Do it.
I'm going to go watch that show,
Watch that show.
and I'm also going to check out and see if I can find any streams of European water polo.
There's a lot.
Because
Two-
now I
two
want
very important
I want to
things.
become.
El Cuervo.
I want to I've become a fan. I want to become a fan.
Shout out to our sponsor, El Cuervo, Los Angeles Athletic Club Water Polo.
Yeah,
Oh
baby.
boy, wow, amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. Really appreciate it. Secondstar.tv, that's where you can find it. Go do that thing. Go watch that thing. You must do it.
You must watch that thing.
It is imminent. It is an imperative that you watch it. Thank you so much again for being with us. And
Thank you.
come back. Come
Thank
back
you.
when your album drops. Come
you.
back when your
Absolutely.
big album
Yes.
drops.
Good, okay.
All right, we'll be right back, guys, but stick around. It's Tomorrow Daily. Welcome back, everybody.
He is so fun.
This is delightful. Just in case you're wondering, we don't just like switch clothes for the interview. We pre-taped it, but
I switch clothes every time.
yeah. Jeff
Sometimes
has like
inside
5
out.
costume changes during every show.
I'm a prima donna.
Yeah, no, he was great. So thank you again to Clayton for coming out and chilling with us because
Yeah,
he
good
was
times.
super fun. He's so nice. Also, Dancing Ninjas video, A+. Are you ready to talk about Into It?
Let's do it.
All right. So I saw Civil War this week.
I know. I'm so jealous.
But I'm not going to talk about that.
Okay,
I'm going to talk about something else.
Okay.
I don't want to give it all away. My review's up on cnet.com, by the way, if anyone wants to read it. I'm super into Ratchet and Clank.
Oh, it's so great. Me too. I'm into that.
The remake of the PS4 it's on PS4 now. It is so pretty. Like the graphics are unbelievable.
Do you remember when the PS2 was coming out and they were like, you're going to have Toy Story level graphics?
You've never seen graphics like this. Well, guess what, guys? You've never seen graphics like this. This is, and it's, they are pulling from, this is like a game, it's like a game based on the movie that's based on the game.
Right.
So it is Insomniac Games. That is gameplay. That is live gameplay. When you saw him running, that's real. That is live
They're playing
gameplay.
like a Pixar movie. It's that good looking.
Yeah, it's delightful. It is so funny. It's just as pithy and snarky and ridiculous and funny as it has ever been. Mr. Zircon is my favorite ever. Like, I mean, do you not understand how to die? Mr. Zircon will teach you.
And in the, it's the same week that Dark Souls 3 comes out, and those games are cool and everything. But remember when games were just pure fun?
Yeah,
That's what this game is.
Guys, there's a gun that turns your enemies into 8-bit characters.
Yeah.
The pixelator.
And
you gotta get it.
There are moments when you'll kill so many things on screen and they all turn into little bits, little nuts and bolts everywhere.
Yeah.
And you're just getting
Bolt
like this
City.
cascade.
Yeah, it's just Bolt City because it's magnetic and it's just the best thing ever. And seriously, you guys, if you're not playing Ratchet and Clank, go get it. If you have a PS4, it's worth your time.
Boy, I certainly second that. You're so right on.
Yeah.
My Intuit has a little darker tone, guys.
Oh my God, I feel a Jeff rant coming on. I feel the heat.
Flames from the side of my
heat.
face.
I feel the heat.
Here's the problem, Ashley. You know, we are both super excited about VR.
Yes.
If you watch this show, we talk about VR constantly. We're ready for the VR future. Oh my gosh, 2016, it's VR time.
Jeff's
We're ready.
so excited, he pre-ordered both VR headsets.
Both! Oh my God, March 28th, it's coming out. April, whatever, 4th, it was coming out.
April-ish.
Yeah, oh, it's awesome. It's ready for the Guess what? Guess how many of my 2 VR headsets have been delivered to me? None of them.
Goose
0 of them. And I got an email this week from Oculus saying, by the way, my Oculus order went in 12 minutes after it went on sale.
Was it just a picture of Lucky?
Yeah, it was just like
double middle fingers at you, like
you're not lucky.
Suck it, Kanata.
You're not lucky.
You're never ever getting these.
It's telling me that even though I got my order in 12 minutes after it went on sale, by the way, I tried to get it even early. I was clicking. 12 minutes as fast as I could do it.
I'm sure.
2 months after launch is when I should now expect my Oculus to arrive. Which
I heard there's some component problems,
which is the most vague, weird explanation.
Yeah.
Do you think that maybe if you take a pre-order 2 months before your thing is supposed to launch, that maybe you should check to see if the components are available? Isn't the whole point of pre-orders to actually know how many people you're going to have to deliver these things to? That's the whole point of pre-ordering, right, Ashley?
I pre-ordered a car 2 years in advance. Yes, that is the point. And Elon Musk said, "Oh, we got to rethink production because wow, a lot of you guys ordered cars."
Yeah, now we know. We had this cool lead time because it's a pre-order. See, we have now information as to how many we have to deliver. Now, I will freely admit this is the epitome of first world problems, and me getting upset about not being able to have my new toy is, I understand, it's petulant and whatever. But still, any company, the thing is, I believe in VR and I want it to succeed, and these companies are screwing it up.
They're not helping you. They're not helping you make your case.
Right.
How dare they?
These are already very expensive things, and the fact that you can't even deliver any
One?
number of them, and guess what, guys? Vive is no better. At least Oculus now has told me when to expect my shipment. Vive is still like April-ish, we think, we hope. I don't know. I pre-ordered that the moment it went on sale too. It is
Yikes.
The fact that both of these companies are having these problems. It really is marring what should be a completely transcendent moment in the history of computers, because these are. I was talking to somebody this weekend about it. VR is the most magical technological experience I've had since the first moment of using the very first Apple phone. Like, It really is that thing that you
It is
always
amazing.
crave with technology. We're like, oh my gosh, this feels like the future. And the fact that they're screwing it up this much and making people cancel their pre-orders and messing up credit card transactions, all this stuff, it's so messy and disappointing on every level. And that's what I'm into this week. I'm into staring at my screen, refreshing to hope that there'll be an email saying the things should be arriving, and then getting the Oculus email that's killing me.
You're into disappointment. That's what you're into. Hey, do you know we forgot to do a whole segment of the show?
What?
We should do Back It or Hack It.
Let's do that. Maybe it'll make me feel better.
I don't know if this is going to make you feel better because I might start ranting this time.
Uh-oh.
So we're going to talk about Bento Lab. It's got about a week left in their campaign. They're on Kickstarter. This is a portable DNA lab.
Yeah. So we can have DNA tests on the go?
On the go, which is, I know that when I am out and about, there is nothing I want more. So many times during the day, I'm like, God, I wish I had a portable DNA lab with me right now. And yeah, nobody says that. Nobody says that. Okay.
What are the use cases that they suggest on this Kickstarter page?
Guys, okay, Jeff, this website, let's discuss here. They're like, here's what you can do with it. You can extract DNA, so they got the centrifuge right there.
Yeah.
They're like, you can copy DNA.
Oh,
they got
good.
to copy
You
DNA.
can clone
copy
stuff on the go?
people. Yeah, sure, why not? And then you can also visualize DNA, so they're like really into that too.
I like that, so I'll never have to eat alone again. I can just clone myself and have a lunch buddy.
Who needs children when you could just raise another you? That's all I'm saying. They're already okay. I'll get to the price in a minute. Here's of course the number one question is what can I do with a Bento Lab? And they've answered this on their Kickstarter page, which I found terribly fascinating and also ridiculous. They said, for example, you could explore your genetic makeup. See if your taste buds detect bitter flavors by testing your variation of the PTC gene. Like, that's fun.
Okay.
That's kind of like a fun
It feels
thing.
like giving a kid like a home microscope to play with.
Sure. But for adults. Check if you're built for endurance by testing your variation of the athlete gene, ACTN3, which I clearly do not possess.
Well, I've never heard of the athlete gene.
I'm not built for endurance. I played volleyball. It's a sprint, not a marathon. Thank you. Test if you're likely to be lactose intolerant. Explore how blood group genotyping works.
Wow. You know how you can also test if you're lactose intolerant?
Drink some milk. Have a bite of ice cream. Eat some cheese. There's so many options.
No,
here.
but I think the idea that it's encouraging people to learn more about their genetic makeup maybe is a good thing.
Fair enough. And I think that there are companies, like 23andMe and stuff that have made sort of DNA information really popular. It's really hot right now. But here's where it gets weird, guys. Here's where it gets weird. Gets a little weird. You can examine your food at a molecular level.
Oh.
Test a hamburger to see if it contains horse meat.
Oh.
Investigate your beer for bacteria that spoil it. Identify GMOs and learn about genetic engineering. Then they talk about, this is where it gets scary.
I like the idea that you could put a hamburger in there and in the screen it just says horse meat.
Horse meat. 100% horse meat. You can characterize biodiversity. It says extract ancient DNA from fossils.
Oh, sweet. All those fossils that I have now finally are useful.
All the fossils I have laying around.
Yeah.
Test the gender of birds from a feather or a spot of blood. Identify species with DNA barcoding. You can also get research done. So they asked for over 500 people how they would use Bento Lab, which I'm assuming these people who made Bento Lab know a bunch of scientists, right? Like this.
You would think.
You would think those
I
are the
hope they are
500 people they asked.
scientists.
No, I want to ask like a soccer mom. How are you going to use a DNA lab?
Right.
But they said field scientists looking for easy to carry equipment, citizen scientists solving social problems, mycologists, foragers, farmers, veterinary students, designers, artists, brewers, chefs interested in molecular astronomy, bioscience students, teachers sharing hands-on practicals that I get, and curious folk with an interest in DNA.
Oh, that's us. We're curious folk with an interest in DNA.
That is me. Are you ready to buy? Are you in? Do you
how
feel
much?
like you want to buy it?
Here's what I will pay for this. Here's what I will pay. You tell me if this is in my price range.
Okay.
I would pay $150 for this.
$150. Probably not.
No, not gonna happen.
No.
How much? What percentage of one
for
will I get?
About $200, $215, you can get an add-on for the kit.
Oh.
But if you would like a Bento Lab,
Yeah.
right now there's a classroom bento. But if you want the launch special, which is already sold out, it's $800.
Woof. That's a VR
That's a
goggles I
Vive.
can't get.
Yeah. Hey, but you know what? They might actually ship this to you before your headsets.
Sad but true. These are reusable. You can use them or do you use them up? Like the $800. How many DNA tests do I get for $800?
Well, they have they have the essential accessories. Like I feel like I'm trying to sell something on an infomercial.
But
I
wait,
would
there's
love
more.
to see this as an infomercial. This would be amazing.
Yeah.
So they're saying it.
Have you always wondered if your hamburger is horse meat?
It's horses. It has the Bento Lab accessories, so power, gel. They have this gel box and a user handbook. But there are also add-on stuff. So it's like you can add on classroom bento. It's like you can add on a starter kit. It has like 10 little experiments that you can do inside the centrifuge, like stuff like that. So, guys, you're spending about $1,000 just to see if your hamburger is made of horse meat. And you know what I say?
Spend that money on better hamburgers.
Spend that money on VR that you're never going to get shipped to your house. Yeah. That's what Jeff did.
Yeah, that's why I can't afford a bento box anymore, because I bought 2 VRs that didn't arrive.
That's true.
I'm of two minds about this.
Okay.
One, I totally see the application like a microscope or some sort of science kit that you would get to promote learning and curiosity among kids or students.
Classroom science lab, that'd be great.
I think that's cool. The other side of this is, I bet this thing does not work as it reeks
very
of
limited results.
Yeah.
Very limited. Sort of like when you get an easy bake oven.
Right.
And you're like, I'm going to bake a cake. And then you bake this thing, and it's not even close to what it looks like on the box, much less actually taste or look like a cake.
Yeah.
And then you're just living with disappointment in your stomach
for
a week.
It's that except DNA.
But with DNA.
And the other thing is, like, if you're going to use this as a kid, do you have to, like, prick yourself and get blood to test your DNA?
I don't like to ask those types of questions. I don't know what's going to ask. Just swipe. Anyway.
Interesting. It seems pretty pricey for what it offers.
It really does. So I'm going to pass on it. But hey, if you're really into DNA, pick up a Bento Lab. You got about a week left.
If any of you are actually getting the Bento Lab,
please
let us know. Because we want to know if this thing works.
Maybe the classrooms that watch us will get it for their science labs. Okay, you ready to talk about photography for the day and wrap this up?
Do it.
All right. Nick sent us an email, and I've been writing back and forth with Nick for about a couple days. And Nick wrote us and sent us this picture and said, for your landmark monument theme, I thought it only appropriate to take this gorgeous picture of the Eiffel Tower on my iPhone 6 Plus. While picnicking with my brother, I've been an international business student in Paris for the past 3 years, originally from Chicago, and graduating in 3 weeks. You, of course, have my permission to use this photo. And then he sent me another email and said, I just wanted to tell you a quick story as we're looking at this beautiful picture. He said, my best friend referred me to your Tomorrow Daily podcast last year. He was tech obsessed and loved your long shows ever since. I've watched every single one of your podcasts. Last week, my best friend, my brother, father to a gorgeous 2-year-old girl, Julian, died in a car crash due to snowy conditions. He flew in from his study abroad in Paris to come to the funeral services. And he said, I know this might be asking too much, but I wanted to try anyways to honor his memory. I hoped you could mention something even all the way at the end of the show just to say a little something for him. He started GoFundMe for his I guess it would be his niece's college fund and funeral expenses for his parents. But he says, and I thought this was really sweet, I wanted to read exactly in his words how much his brother meant to him. And for a fan of the show, we'll do anything for you guys. He says, Julian Paris was a loving son, a mischievous brother, a loyal friend, caring husband, and an exemplary father. He said, just 2 years ago, we went skydiving together, and that was one of the only times I've ever seen him actually petrified of doing something crazy. I'm going to miss him, and thank you for giving someone as great as him the time to be appreciated. So, Julian, you will be missed, and you are clearly loved by everybody who knew you. And thank you, Nick, for sharing your story with us, because obviously it's not easy time for you right now. So we at Tomorrow Daily are sending our love to you.
Absolutely.
And if you want to check out the GoFundMe page, I will tweet it from my personal account, and you can come find me on social media. But thank you for sending in both of those pictures.
Yes. Our thoughts are with you, Nick. Thank you so much. And we appreciate the beautiful image and the beautiful sentiment as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and I thought it was a nice way to kind of end the week. If you guys want to send in your photography that has a landmark or a monument, and I don't know if anyone's going to be as good as that beautiful story that was just told, but if you'd like to submit your photography, please email us tomorrow@cnet.com.
Yeah, we love getting those and finding out a little story about why you took that picture, what device you took it on, and also we need to make sure you give us permission to use it on the show.
Yes, and if you want to find us on social media or share the show, just head over to tomorrowdaily.com. And we will be back next week.
Yes, we will.
A brand new docket of weird science fact meeting science fiction and making us so happy, you guys. It's so good. Thank you again to everybody involved with the making of this week's show, The Long Show. It was a really good one. We had so much fun. Clayton Snyder, thank you for coming on the show. Nick, thank you for sending in that wonderful story about your brother. And we're so sorry to hear about his passing. And we will be back next week. But until then,
be good humans.
Bye, guys.